Welcome to Geometry for AP. Today, students will be able to complete an algebraic proof, recognize different algebraic properties, given a property, complete the missing parts of the property. All right, and so you will find a list of all these properties in the back of your packet. It might be good to have your packet out so that you can highlight those as we learn them. Also, in your postulate and theorem sheet, you will have those information. So if you want to pause your video and highlight all of these properties, you will find these in the back of your packet. And if you want to, you can take that page off or take that page out of your packet so you can use these to refer to. These are algebraic properties. And so we have the property addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, substitution property, and distributive property. There are other properties, but these are the first set of algebraic properties. You might want to put a star by the substitution property. It tends to be one that's missed the most. It's mixed up with another property we're going to learn in just a minute. You've used all these properties all throughout algebra. Now we're going to learn how to use them in a proof method. Okay, so there are a few other properties. There is a reflexive property, symmetric property, and transitive property. So if you want to pause the video and highlight those, and also on your properties chart. These three properties can be used with segments and with angles. They are the only three that can be done with segments and angles. So make sure you pay attention to that. That can cause a problem later on if you try to use these, use some of the algebraic properties for segments or angles when you're not necessary or not allowed to use them. All right, so if you want to write down these examples, pause video, try to match these up using your table. That would be great. And once you've got all these written down and matched them up, then we can start the video again and check your answers. Okay, so now that you've got this done, I'm going to show all the answers. When I can find them. All right, so here are all your answers. Check your answers, see how you did. Restart the video after you've checked your answers and see how you did. All right, well, if you got any of those wrong, make sure you put a mark by those and make sure you ask a question when you come to class tomorrow. If you can understand why you got them wrong now, remember that I said that there are a few that we need to be careful of, and that is H here, which is the substitution property, and the L one. Okay. The difference between these two is that in this one, it is an order. Transitive is always about an order. And so let's go to this screen right here. If you look at transitive property, it is A is equal to B, B is equal to C, then A is equal to C. So there's a specific order here to this one. As opposed to substitution, it says if 2x plus 4 and x is equal to 5, then 2 times 5 plus 4. So they both have an if and an and in them, but this substitution has you plugging something into an equation or something to represent something else, while this has a specific order. So watch for that. That will be the issue you will have. All right, so this is an algebraic equation. And in an algebraic equation, you know how to solve this equation. But what we want to do is we want to solve this one and show all the different steps. And so when we start this one, we always start out with the problem. Okay, and so this is the problem, and this is our first step. And our first step is always we're given a problem. Right, and now if we're going to solve this problem, our second step would be, if we were going to solve this, would be to distribute. And so our second step would be distribute a property. I'm going to abbreviate here, make it easier. So distribute a property. Our third step would be probably to combine the 44 and the negative 8 together. And so that would make 36 minus 6. Oops, that's not 6. 6x equals negative 18x. And so that means that that would be combining like terms when you just add numbers together that are alike. Our fourth step would be to move the 36 over, so I subtract 36 to each side, so minus 6x equals negative 18x minus 36. That was subtraction property. Then I would move the 18, so that would become 12x equals negative 36. And that was addition property. I added 18x to each side. Last step here, we divide both sides by 12, so x is equal to negative 3. That is the division property. And that would be my algebraic proof. Now you could have worked through this in many different ways, but I wanted you to get x is equal to negative 3 on written like that, not negative 3 is equal to x. So if you would have done it the other way where you solved that the x was on the right and the negative 3 was on the left, you would have had to use symmetric property at the end to flip it around, and you would still maybe have another step in there that I didn't have. So here's our next example. For this problem, I want you to prove that x is equal to a positive 1. And you can't just plug that in. You have to go through all the steps like we did a minute ago. So pause the video and work your problem. When you work this problem, you probably did this in either 5 or 6 steps. You did it in 5 steps if you did both the distributive properties at one time, which I will allow. You may have done it in 6 steps if you did one side of the distributive property and then did another step as the other side of the distributive property. Okay, make sure you have this proof when you come in so that we can see your work so you can get credit. This is one of the types of proofs that will be on the final exam. Alright, so now we're going to do some algebraic properties. So here we have 7 listed properties, and you want to use your property chart if you don't know them yet to see if you can name those properties. So pause this video and try to do all 7 of these. Okay, so now that you've started the video again, let's see how you did. This first one would be reflexive property. This next one will be division. This one will be multiplication. This one will be distributive. This one right here would be symmetric. This one right here would be transitive. And this last one right here would be substitution. Okay, check to make sure you got those. You will need to be able to do this on the test. Alright, so here we have properties there. They give you the property and they tell you to complete the statement. So pause the video. I'm only going to do a few of these, so make sure you do all these, and I'm going to put just a few answers down when you start the video again. Okay, so the ones that I'm going to do this one, I'm going to do this one, and I will do this one. So you will have to have the other 3 done. So If we look at this problem, it says 2x plus 4 is equal to 12, and then I'll say we have 6x plus blank equals 36. So we know the 12 became 36, so that was times 3. We know the 2 became the 6x, so that's times 3. So we need to multiply the 4 times 3, which gives us 12 there. So 6x plus 12 equals 36. So you gotta have the distributed product one. Now substitution, it says 3x plus y is equal to 15, and y is equal to 4. So and I can take out the y and substitute it in with the number 4. So 3x plus 4 equals 15. I like the parentheses there in case it's a negative sign. It's good to put that in a parentheses so you don't have two signs next to each other. Okay, the transitive properties for you. Remember, order matters. And number 5, AB is equal to CD. AB plus PQ is equal to CD plus PQ. I got to add the same amount to both sides here. So I'm adding the PQ. Remember, these are distances. That's why this is an addition property. There's no segment bars over any of them. And symmetric property is for you to do. And that represents the end of our lesson.